Welcome to What the Heck Is That Phonograph, a video series where we'll explore odd and unusual phonographs. In this episode, we'll explore the Chicago Ediphone phonograph. Thomas Edison first used Ediphone as a trademark at the end of 1917. Edison employed the name Ediphone for his line of business phonographs that used wax cylinders to record and play back voice recordings. Edison's Ediphone was used widely in offices, courtrooms, and even hospitals,
Code blue.
allowing records to be created quickly and accurately. However, this is not the Ediphone we will explore today. Introduce Edward Hill AMT. AMT trained as an electrical engineer and worked for a time with Thomas Edison. Setting up independently in Waukegan, Illinois, in November 1891, AMT designed the first spring-wound motor for phonographs. Complete with a case, AMT motors were sold by the Chicago Talking Machine Company to be mated with an existing company's topworks, such as an Edison Class M phonograph or American Graphophone Company Bell-Tainer Graphophone. But it didn't last long. In April of 1896, the American Graphophone Company won a patent infringement case against AMT, requiring him to cease the production and sale of AMT phonographs. But not before a small and very obscure Chicago company called the Chicago Ediphone Works obtained AMT's motor. This is the Ediphone. 20 years earlier, and having no association with Thomas Edison's Ediphone that we will examine further. In September 1895, Lewis W. Briggs and Daniel E. Boswell filed for a patent on the topworks that would be used on the Chicago Ediphone phonograph. From March 1895 through September 1896, at 154 Lake in the Marine Bank Building, Boswell advertised cheap electric and spring-wound phonographs for sale in multiple Chicago area newspapers. On January 12, 1897, the National Ediphone Company was incorporated in Chicago to manufacture talking and musical instruments with Daniel E. Boswell as the president. The Chicago Ediphone Works was the operating company that sold the Chicago Ediphone for the National Ediphone Company and had offices in the Chemical Bank Building on Dearborn Street in Chicago. Amazingly, the Chicago Ediphone even had an international presence.
Ooh la la.
In the M. Werner and Company catalog from Paris, France, along with an Edison Class M, Edison Clockwork Home, and Columbia Bijou Model N, is advertised the Chicago Ediphone. Like the Chicago Talking Machine Company, the Chicago Ediphone Works offered a phonograph assembled from their uniquely manufactured topworks and purchased AMT case and motor. But it didn't last long. In less than 1 month of their incorporation in 1897, the American Graphophone Company won an injunction restraining Daniel E. Boswell, the National Ediphone Company, and the Chicago Ediphone Works from manufacturing and selling the Chicago Ediphone. Shown is the Chicago Ediphone Works Chicago Ediphone phonograph. Upon initial inspection, the case is clearly from Edward AMT. Opening the front drop-down door allows two internal latches to be pulled and the lid to be removed. This reveals the Chicago Ediphone topworks and the AMT motor. The AMT 3-ball motor is one of AMT's last iterations of the AMT motor. One of the technical advances employed by AMT on the 3-ball motor, not seen on previous motors, is a belt tensioner. The construction of the Chicago Ediphone topworks is completely unique. The Chicago Ediphone closely matches both the catalog picture and the Briggs-Boswell patent. However, it never had a decal and has a simpler carriage than the elaborate carriage sled described in the patent. The Chicago Ediphone does have an oversized gear that mates with the mandrel shaft and rotates the feed screw, a belt that connects the AMT motor below with the gearing on the top works above, a hollow mandrel without an end gate, a carriage with integrated half nut that rides directly on the feed screw, an on-off turn button connecting to a friction arm that controls the AMT motor below, and a speed control turn button that connects with the AMT motor below by a flexible metal shaft. Though the reproducer appears to be an Edison automatic, it is not. The carriage eye, or opening for the Chicago Ediphone reproducer, is slightly smaller than an Edison carriage eye. Therefore, the Edison automatic will not fit in the Chicago Ediphone carriage. Secured by a single thumb screw, the uniquely made Chicago Ediphone reproducer has a significantly larger tube than an Edison automatic, a much more robust threaded diaphragm ring than an Edison automatic, much longer travel in its diaphragm weight than an Edison automatic, and no markings of any kind. As one might imagine, with the large gear on the top works, the Chicago Ediphone has a unique rumble when running. What the heck is that phonograph? I'll offer two possible answers.
The Chicago Ediphone was a one-off, prototype phonograph, produced by some talented machinist.
The Chicago Ediphone was clearly made as a production machine. Many components of the topworks, including the large gear, are made of cast iron. Cast iron parts represent a significant pre-production investment intended to be reproduced many times. If the Chicago Ediphone were a prototype, its parts would have been machined from brass.
The Chicago Ediphone is a production phonograph from the National Ediphone Company and Chicago Ediphone Works.
The preponderance of evidence, including the existence of two original period documents advertising the Chicago Ediphone, the Briggs-Boswell Topworks patent, multiple newspaper articles, the well-documented practice of AMT selling his motors to be mated with a unique topworks, and the American Graphophone court injunction provides sufficient evidence to confirm this as the National Ediphone Company Chicago Ediphone Works phonograph. The short-lived availability of AMT phonographs and the American Graphophone court action within days of the National Ediphone Company's incorporation didn't allow for many sales of the Chicago Ediphone. To date, this is the only example of a Chicago Ediphone phonograph manufactured by the National Ediphone Company and sold by the Chicago Ediphone Works that has been found. Thank you for watching this episode of What the Heck Is That Phonograph?